So the first question here of the company core is the most important by far, and it's who. For whom do we exist? Who is our core customer or our primary customer, and how do we delight them? Now, I know there's a lot of noise and confusion out there about a company should start with why. And I don't agree. Like a company should orient first around who. For whom do we exist? Now I understand where the why camp is coming from, right? They're like, lead with a compelling vision, whatever that inspiring vision is. And what they're trying to do is galvanize the human spirit, right? We all want to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves, where we can make a contribution and leave a legacy, right? I get it. However, it's risky. It's risky for a variety of reasons. One is if you find that you can't actually achieve on your why, it's not going to be motivating, it's going to be demoralizing. Two, if you orient first around the why, it creates a risk of ivory tower syndrome. Like we exist for ourselves to pursue this purpose. Screw the customers, right? Your business isn't going to be around very long. Three, most importantly, you can get the same transcendent motivation by orienting around customers that you can around a why. You with me? So if I get up in the morning and I'm thinking about, okay, for whom do I exist? Exist for this core customer type. How can I help? How can I delight them? You know what I mean? That's meaning. That there's meaning there, and it's sustainable meaning. So I'm orienting you guys first around who is the core customer. There are other ways you can organize the entire business, but if you're kind of listening to me, I hope, then what I want you to know is that if you orient first around the customer, everything else will fall in line. We'll get to the why next, but let's start with who. Now, your business might have many customer types. It might have users, it might have paying advertisers, it might have partners. The spirit here is if we stop meeting the needs of this core customer, everything falls apart. I'll load a picture of the Yahoo homepage on my screen here. Notice how Yahoo got confused a long time ago that its core customers are advertisers, right? If you go to Yahoo, you are the product. Now go to Google. Google has a lot of customer types too, right? Users, subscribers, advertisers. But just notice they haven't lost sight needs of the core customer to get the information they're looking for quickly. They win. But if we go to the Google homepage and we start to see it overladen with ads and opt-in offers and all these things, we know that Google's lost its way. Okay, so that's what I mean by the core customer. For whom do you exist? If you stop meeting the needs of this core customer, everything falls apart. Now, sometimes I get feedback that the word delight is too squishy. We're a B2B company. We don't delight our customers, Okay, choose a different word, but the point is really valid. Like customers have conscious needs and unconscious needs. And a great business, regardless of which vertical it serves, understands the unconscious unmet needs of its customers. And delight means to not only do we meet the core needs, we're doing something to delight the unconscious unmet needs, right? Now, there's a lot here that we can break down. Like, one of my favorite examples of unconscious unmet needs is in the 1990s, a Toyota Prius. Now, the Toyota Prius came out. I was really enthralled with the idea of a high gas mileage car, better for the environment, new technology. Man, and I looked at that car and I thought, that is the ugliest car I've ever seen. I can't wait for them to come out with an SUV. I'll buy that. Well, what I wasn't aware of is that the Prius was an ugly car, but it was a unique looking car. And at the same time, the Honda Civic kind of came out with comparable gas mileage, but it looked like a traditional Civic, while the Prius didn't look like a traditional car. And what Toyota understood and kind of tapped into is that people consciously, they wanted to save money, but unconsciously, they wanted to be seen as caring for the environment. Well, Honda Civic, it was just a conscious need to save gas mileage. I think I'd have to look it up, but Prius outsold the Civic 10-1. Just because at that time in history, Toyota did a great job of, I drive this ugly Prius, I'm meeting my unconscious unmet need of letting others know that I care about the environment. Now, the same concept holds true for business-to-business customers. In that same era, there was a saying no one ever got fired for buying IBM. IBM wasn't on the leading edge. It was staid. It was practical. It was the industry leader. And so if you were an IT director, you had unconscious unmet needs of, safety, job safety, security, belongingness. There's no reason to stick your neck out and go with some innovative new solution at that time. If you bought IBM, you were safe. Okay. Now those needs change over time, right? But the point is that every business exists to meet the needs of a core primary customer type. There's meaning there, there's motivation there. You can orient product development and strategy there. Every core buyer type has conscious needs and unconscious unmet needs. And the company core survey that you can register for below, it does a pretty good job of helping you to kind of hone in on not only what the conscious unmet needs are, but what the unconscious unmet needs are. And that's a really powerful place to organize your entire business around. Who is our core customer? How do we delight them?